What if I told you there's one day in the year when heaven itself seems to burst open, a day when angels fill the skies with song, and the mother who once cradled Jesus is crowned before all creation? Imagine bells echoing through eternity, light pouring down like rivers of gold, and millions of souls rejoicing at her victory. This isn't just a story, nor a legend. It's a living reality that still reaches into your life today. Did you know there is a day when the heavens open wide, and the Queen enters, surrounded by countless angels, while souls across the universe rejoice in her triumph? This day is not mere symbol, not myth, but a truth that continues to transform lives. It is the day of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary, when she was taken body and soul into heaven. The 15th of August, the great solemnity of the Assumption. Picture it, all the bells of heaven ringing in unison, choirs of angels singing, and Mary, the same humble woman who once held the infant Jesus, who stood silently at the foot of the cross, who prayed steadfastly with the apostles, now crowned as Queen of the entire universe. And this extraordinary reality isn't locked away in some far-off past. It touches you, here and now. The Church teaches us that on this feast, we celebrate Mary's total victory over sin and death. She was lifted into heaven and crowned as Queen. But here's the wonder. This day is not only about remembering her. It's also a doorway, an opening for you to receive heaven's blessings. Padre Pio used to say, "On the great feasts of the Virgin, graces fall like spring rain upon those who wait with faith." Think about that for a moment. While the world rushes through its routine, something extraordinary unfolds in the unseen realm. Angels lift their voices, saints rejoice, and Mary herself, the woman clothed with the sun, intercedes with renewed power for her children on earth. This is your moment, your opportunity to reach into something magnificent. Today, I want to share with you 3 simple yet powerful actions you can take on the Assumption of Mary to receive extraordinary grace. These are not complicated rituals. They're small, humble gestures, but each one is like a key that unlocks the mother's compassion, moving her heart to intercede for you before her Son. So, pause for a second. What do you most desire right now? Healing for a loved one? Peace in your family? Clarity in a decision that weighs on you? Perhaps freedom from a burden too heavy to carry? Whatever it may be, this feast of the 15th of August could be the very day your story changes. If you believe Mary can turn struggles into triumph, whisper a prayer, or even write in the comments, "Holy Mary, my Queen, lift my prayers to Jesus." That small act of faith is like lighting a flame that rises beyond this screen, beyond this moment, straight to the throne of our Heavenly Mother. And now, are you ready to uncover these 3 life-changing actions? Let's begin with the first. And I promise you, by the end of this message, you'll see why the 15th of August shines as one of the most powerful days of the year. The first step on the Assumption of Mary is to renew your consecration to her. If you've never consecrated yourself before, this is the perfect day to begin. If you have, then today is the moment to do it again, with a deeper heart and clearer devotion. But what does it really mean to consecrate yourself to Mary? It means entrusting your whole life into her loving hands. It is like a spiritual adoption. You become truly her child, and she becomes truly your mother. Take your rosary, or if you don't have one, simply place your hands on your heart. Look at an image of Mary, maybe a statue, a picture, or simply close your eyes and imagine her gentle face. Then speak to her not as a distant saint, but as the most tender mother you could ever dream of. Say with your soul, "Mary, I belong to you. Guide me always. Take my life and make it pleasing to your Son. When I am weak, be my strength. When I am afraid, be my courage. When I am lost, be my light. I trust you completely, dear Mother, and I place myself under your protection." Padre Pio once said, "When you place yourself under Mary's mantle, the devil cannot touch you." This is not poetic exaggeration, it's spiritual reality. Her protection is real, immediate, and powerful for anyone who truly entrusts themselves to her. And here's why this consecration holds such power, especially on the Feast of the Assumption. When Mary was lifted into heaven, she did not abandon her children. Instead, her motherhood expanded. It became universal, eternal. From her throne in heaven, Mary watches over every soul that calls upon her name. But there is something profoundly different about those who have consecrated themselves to her. Think about it. If two groups of people asked for your help, one group made up of strangers, the other your very own children, who would you rush to first? Who would you embrace with your fullest generosity? Of course, your children. That's exactly what happens when you belong to Mary. The beauty of consecration is that it doesn't demand perfection. Mary knows your weaknesses, your fears, and even the mistakes you try to hide. She is not surprised by them. Like a tender mother, she takes your broken pieces and covers them with her strength. She lifts your small, sometimes clumsy prayers and presents them to Jesus with her perfect love. Many believe consecration is a one-time event, something you check off and never revisit. But Padre Pio understood it differently. He renewed his consecration again and again, especially on Mary's great feast days. Why? Because we forget. Our hearts wander, our minds grow distracted, and we fall back into the illusion that we must handle life all on our own. That is why renewal matters. It brings us back under her mantle. On this, the 15th of August, as Mary shines in heavenly glory, she gazes upon her consecrated children with special tenderness. It is as if she whispers, "Come, my child, let me be your mother, not in words alone, but in every detail of your life." Here's the truth many overlook. Consecrating yourself to Mary doesn't add another burden. It actually removes the heaviest one of all, the burden of trying to navigate this hard, unpredictable world by yourself. She becomes your spiritual guide, always pointing you toward what brings peace, always shielding you from what could wound your soul. So, if you're facing a difficult situation right now, here's what I encourage you to do. After renewing your consecration, talk to Mary about it, just as you would with your earthly mother. Don't hide behind lofty words or formal prayers. Speak honestly. "Mother, I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. Please, help me." Then pause. Listen not with your ears, but with your spirit. Watch for the quiet peace that settles over your heart, for the unexpected idea that rises, for the door of opportunity that gently opens. Because consecration is not only about receiving blessings, though blessings will certainly come. It is about entering into a relationship that carries you through every season of life. When earthly mothers falter, Mary never does. When human help runs dry, her advocacy flows without end. And here's the key to remember. Consecration is not the conclusion. It is the foundation. It's the beginning upon which every other grace can rest. You are now truly her child, and she is truly your mother, eternally faithful, infinitely loving. Which leads us directly to the second powerful action for the Assumption of Mary, attending Holy Mass and offering it with a special intention. Why is this so important? Because in the Eucharist, Jesus himself gives himself to us, and there is no greater gift. Let me show you why attending Mass on this feast day carries extraordinary power. Padre Pio had an extraordinary grasp of the mystery of the Mass. He once said, "If people truly understood the value of just one Mass, churches would be overflowing with endless lines of people waiting to enter." These weren't the words of exaggeration, but the wisdom of a man who celebrated the Eucharist for hours, fully aware that in those moments he was touching eternity itself. And that's exactly what happens when you attend Mass on the Assumption. You're not merely fulfilling a Sunday obligation, you're standing at the very intersection where heaven meets earth. Think about it. Mary, radiant in her heavenly glory, is the same woman who once whispered, "Yes," at the Annunciation. Her humble yes brought Jesus into the world. And now, your yes in faith brings Jesus into your very situation, into your pain, your family, your needs. Here's what I encourage you to do before Mass begins. Bring with you one very specific intention, not a vague request, but something that burns in your heart. Is it healing for someone you love? Provision for your family? Reconciliation in a broken relationship? Guidance for an overwhelming decision? Carry it with you as you step into church. Then comes the moment of consecration. When the priest lifts the host high above the altar, pause. Look closely. That is no longer bread. It is Jesus himself, alive, present, and waiting for you. In that sacred silence, imagine yourself placing your intention into his hands. But here is the part that will take your breath away. See Mary standing right beside him, her gaze gentle and filled with love, receiving your prayer as her own, and pressing it close to her immaculate heart before offering it back to her Son. The link between Mary and the Eucharist is not an accident. It was Mary who gave Jesus his human body, the very body that becomes present on every altar across the world. So when you offer your Mass on the Assumption for a personal intention, you are asking the mother who once carried Jesus in her womb to now carry your prayer in the most perfect way through the sacrifice that saved the world. I once read about a woman named Sarah who experienced this reality in an unforgettable way. 3 years ago, she was 8 months unemployed and on the edge of losing her home. On the 15th of August, instead of giving in to despair, she forced herself to attend Mass. During the consecration, she placed her financial crisis in Jesus' hands and begged Mary to intercede. The very next day, she received a call for a job interview at a company she hadn't even applied to. Someone had recommended her. Within 2 weeks, she was hired for a position that paid even more than her previous job. Sarah later said with tears, "I know it was Mary. The timing was too perfect. It couldn't have been coincidence." But here's what many forget. Offering Mass isn't just about asking for something. It's about aligning your heart with God's heart. Sometimes the answer is exactly what you request. Other times, the grace comes differently. Strength to endure with peace, wisdom to see new paths, or healing in relationships you didn't even know were wounded. When you participate in the Eucharist on the Assumption, your prayer isn't isolated. You are joining your voice to the cosmic choir, the saints of every century, the angels of heaven, and Mary herself in her glorified state. Your intention becomes woven into a prayer far greater than your own, lifted up in a chorus of love that shakes eternity. And here is the most beautiful truth of all. Jesus never refuses his mother's requests. At the wedding in Cana, when the wine ran out, it was Mary who noticed first. She turned to Jesus and, with quiet confidence, brought the need before him. And even though his hour had not yet come, she simply told the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." That moment opened the door to his very first public miracle. The same mystery unfolds when you offer your Mass through Mary's intercession. She carries your needs straight to her Son, then gently whispers to your heart, "Trust him. Do whatever he tells you." That's why, after Mass, I invite you not to rush out the church doors. Stay for a few minutes. Thank Mary for standing at your side. Thank Jesus for the gift of the Eucharist. Then, in the days that follow, keep your heart attentive. Grace often arrives quietly like dew on the grass at dawn. Sometimes it's a sudden peace where there once was fear. Sometimes it's an unexpected solution, opening like a door you didn't know existed. Other times, it's the quiet strength to endure what cannot yet be changed. So this, the 15th of August, don't let your attendance at Mass be a mere routine. Make it an act of faith, a deliberate step into the arms of heaven. Come with expectation, come with openness, and come ready to let Mary take your deepest burdens directly to the throne of her Son. And speaking of Mary's intercession, I want to share something that many of you have been asking me for, a way to deepen your prayer life and strengthen your connection to Padre Pio's wisdom. That's why we've created a very special resource, an ebook called The Power of the Rosary with Padre Pio, Miracles, Protection, and Divine Graces. Inside, you'll discover how to pray the Rosary with deeper devotion and focus. You'll read powerful testimonies of those who've witnessed miracles through this prayer. You'll also learn Padre Pio's most profound teachings about prayer and receive a 30-day prayer guide with daily intentions, plus access to prayers for protection, healing, and liberation. For Padre Pio, the Rosary was not just a devotion, it was his greatest weapon, his shield in every battle, and today it can be yours too. Thousands have already found strength and transformation through this guide, and you can as well. To get your copy, simply click the link pinned in the comments. But now, let us move to the third powerful action you must take on the Assumption. The third step is this: perform a concrete act of love in honor of Mary. This goes beyond prayer or attending Mass. It's about allowing Mary's compassion to flow through your own hands and heart. Her entire life was marked by selfless service. From the moment she said yes to Gabriel, she was thinking of humanity's salvation, not her own comfort. When she hurried to visit Elizabeth, it wasn't for her benefit, it was to serve. At Cana, she noticed the embarrassment of the hosts before anyone else and acted to help. Even at the foot of the cross, in her own agony, she embraced the mission of becoming mother to us all. On the Feast of the Assumption, Mary longs to see her compassion reflected in her children. That means stepping beyond ourselves and choosing love in action. And remember, it doesn't have to be dramatic or costly. Often the smallest gestures unlock the greatest miracles. Visit someone who is sick or lonely. Call a family member you've been avoiding. Help a neighbor with their groceries. Offer forgiveness where it's been withheld. Write an encouraging message to someone walking through darkness. Donate to a food bank. Or perhaps hardest of all, pray for someone who has hurt you deeply. Padre Pio captured it beautifully when he said, "Charity is the key that opens all the doors of heaven." Charity isn't limited to giving money, it's love lived out in action. And when that love is offered in honor of Mary, it shines like a jewel before God. To live this third action is to see others as Mary sees them, beloved children of God in need of compassion, patience, and hope. And here's why this act of love on the Assumption carries such power. When you choose to love in Mary's name, you become her hands, her voice, her heart beating in the world today. She can no longer physically embrace the lonely, but you can. She can't place food in the hands of the hungry, but you can. Every time you step out in charity, she multiplies the effect in ways you may never see this side of eternity. Let me share a beautiful story. Last year, a man named David was at the breaking point with his teenage son. Their relationship had been reduced to slammed doors, angry words, and long silences. His son seemed to despise everything David represented, and David himself felt like a failure. Then the 15th of August arrived. Remembering it was the Feast of the Assumption, David decided to honor Mary with a simple act of love. He walked to his son's room and said gently, "I'm going to clean your car today. No lecture, no conditions, I just want to do something nice for you." His son didn't believe him at first. He waited for the scolding, the strings attached, the hidden motive, but it never came. David spent 2 quiet hours washing, waxing, and detailing the car, whispering prayers for his son with every wipe of the cloth. When he was finished, he left the keys on the counter with a handwritten note, "I love you more than you know, Dad." 3 days later, his son came to him, softer than David had seen him in months. "Dad," he said, "I've been thinking about what you did. It made me realize how patient you've been with me, even when I didn't deserve it. Can we talk?" That conversation became the turning point that began healing their fractured relationship. David later told me, "I know it was Mary. She took my small act of service and turned it into something far greater, a miracle for my family." That's how Mary works. She takes our little offerings of love, the things we think are insignificant, and transforms them into channels of grace. But here's the secret: the act of love must be sincere. It cannot be manipulative or self-serving. You can't do something nice just to force a result. You do it purely to honor Mary, to love as she loved, trusting that she will take care of the rest. And maybe you're thinking, "But I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I'm drowning in my own problems." Yet here lies the paradox. Some of the most powerful acts of love come from those who are hurting themselves. When you give from your emptiness, when you serve even while wounded, Mary's heart is especially moved. Perhaps your finances are tight, yet you can still make a phone call to comfort someone who is lonely. Perhaps your body is weak with illness, yet you can still whisper prayers for another's healing. Perhaps your own heart is broken, yet you can still offer words of kindness to someone walking through the same valley. Mary knows that love often costs us something. That's why it has weight in heaven. And here's another truth. Your act of love doesn't need to be tied to your own struggles. In fact, it can be even more powerful when it's not. When you serve with no hidden agenda, simply to honor Mary, you open a door for her to work in your life in ways you never imagined. So as the 15th of August approaches, ask Mary to guide you. Pay attention to the people who suddenly come to mind, the situations you notice, or the unexpected opportunities that appear in your path. Sometimes it will be obvious who you're meant to help. Other times, Mary will surprise you with someone you never expected. Remember this, you're not just doing a random good deed. You're participating in Mary's ongoing mission to bring God's love into the world, and when you do, you step into a mystery far greater than yourself. Now that you've seen the three actions, consecration, Mass, and love in action, let's bring it all together with a closing reflection that shows why the Assumption is not just a feast on the calendar, but a living doorway into grace. You see, when you choose to love through Mary, you're allowing her heart to beat within your own. And truly, what greater privilege could there be than to let the Queen of Heaven love the world through you? As we close our time together, let's pause and remember the three powerful actions that can transform the 15th of August, from an ordinary feast into a day of extraordinary grace. 1. Renew your consecration to Mary. 2. Attend Holy Mass with a clear, specific intention. 3. Perform a concrete act of love in her honor. These aren't just spiritual suggestions, they are gentle invitations from a mother who longs to draw you closer to her Son. On this Assumption feast, Mary extends her hand to you. She offers to lift your burdens, to carry them to Jesus, and to assure you that no prayer whispered in faith today will ever be ignored, and no act of love will be left unrewarded. Think for a moment about what her Assumption truly means. When Mary was taken into heaven, body and soul, it wasn't just her triumph, it was God's way of showing us our own destiny. Death will not have the last word. Suffering will not last forever. What feels impossible can unfold into possibility when we entrust ourselves to His plan. The Assumption is like a window into eternity, a preview of the home that waits for us. And yet, the 15th of August only comes once a year. None of us knows how many more times we will stand under the shower of graces that this feast brings. This could be your breakthrough, your answered prayer, your miracle in disguise. Don't let it slip by as if it were just another day on the calendar. Padre Pio often said, "Mary is never outdone in generosity. Whatever you give her in trust, she returns, multiplied. Your act of consecration becomes a shield of protection. Your devotion at Mass becomes an unstoppable plea before her Son. Your act of love becomes a fountain of unexpected blessings." So right now, wherever you are, take a quiet moment. Close your eyes. Picture Mary in her heavenly glory, crowned with 12 stars, clothed with the sun, standing on the moon. But look closer at her face. It isn't distant, untouchable, or stern. It is the gaze of a mother who looks upon her beloved child with tenderness, with joy, with fierce protection. That is how she looks at you. Pray with me. Virgin Mary, Queen assumed into heaven, today I place myself completely under your protection. Receive my intentions, watch over my family, intercede for every need of my heart. Cover us with your mantle, and one day lead us home to be with you and your Son forever. Through your immaculate soul, may every prayer be heard, every tear be dried, and every hope be fulfilled. Amen. If Mary's love has stirred something within you today, if you trust in her powerful advocacy, I invite you to write in the comments, "Mary, my Queen, I trust in your love." Your declaration will join with thousands of others, a chorus of faith rising like incense to heaven. And before you go, please share this message with someone who needs hope. You never know whose life might be changed by hearing it. And if you'd like to continue walking this journey of faith with us, you're welcome to subscribe and be part of this growing community. Together, we are stronger. Together, we can help one another take steps closer to heaven.